Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas, and Atomic Heart 2 has been announced at Summer Game Fest, and personally, I think that that is a pretty good thing. Now, to be clear on this, I have not played Atomic Heart, but I have every intention of playing it. I still have it sealed. Now, this was first revealed to us many years ago, and when I first saw it, I thought that looks amazing. It looks fantastic because it looked very Bioshocky. And if you don't know what I mean by that, it's a game which looks like it's taken inspiration from Bioshock. And if you don't know, I love Bioshock. These aren't the only copies of Bioshock I own as well. In fact, you might be able to see just behind Cortex there is some more copies of Bioshock. I've played it multiple times. I love it. I love the world of Bioshock. I love the aesthetic, the gameplay, everything about it. That's basically the reason why I wanted to get Atomic Heart. Anyway, it was announced and it was revealed and then it got delayed. It got delayed and then it got delayed. It constantly got delayed until it finally came out a couple of years ago. I kind of not forgot about it. I always knew that I wanted to play it. It's always been there in the back of my mind. But I have a massive backlog of games. Like seriously, maybe 70 or 75 games. It's absolutely incredible. But with Atomic Heart, I knew that I had to get it and play it because it looks really good. It looks like Bioshock. Whether it is like Bioshock, I still truly don't know. And one day I will actually find out for myself. But you'll have to tell me in the comments if I need to get that down my list a little bit more and play it a little bit sooner, ready for Atomic Heart 2. So why am I making this video exactly? Well, to me, after seeing Atomic Heart 2, it just didn't quite look like what I would have expected a sequel of Atomic Heart to look like. In terms of something like Borderlands, you look at Borderlands 2, it looks like more of the same. You look at Bioshock, for example. Bioshock 2 was more of the same. Resident Evil, well, almost more of the same, but you get the whole idea. Look at Overcooked, and Overcooked 2, more of the same. Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy here, Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2, more of the same. They were fundamentally the same, just slight difference, all changed and whatever else. But to me, Atomic Heart 2 does not look like what I think an actual Atomic Heart 2 should look like. But it might be that my memory is messed up from looking at images of Atomic Heart and I've not got the full story. I don't quite know yet. But you're now thinking, Jimmy, why are you making this video if you've not even played Atomic Heart? That trailer is for people who have also not played Atomic Heart. Because you look at this game originally, yes, I know this is the PS5 version, but it actually came out on PS4 as well. Now, did the PS4 hold back the PS5 version? I think yes, because in the case of most cross-gen games, they have been held back by the previous generation. Atomic Heart 2 is only releasing on the current generation of consoles. Therefore, I would expect it to look even better than the original Atomic Heart, but I do not think it does. I think it looks pretty much the same. And yes, I know I've said like Borderlands 2 is more of the same and Bioshock 2 is more of the same, but there was not a generational gap between these two games. And that is why I think Atomic Heart 2 looks strange. It doesn't look right to me. And also the game itself just looks like something completely different that I've not seen before. Like it doesn't fit in with the Atomic Heart universe. But is that the case? Is that genuinely the case? It could very well be that Atomic Heart 2 is a standalone version and you don't necessarily need to play the original Atomic Heart to fully understand what's going in Atomic Heart 2. I guess it could be like that. You look at Final Fantasy, going back to that as an example. The original Final Fantasy 2, you don't need to play the first one to understand what's going on in the second one. They're a standalone game. And it's the same with every Final Fantasy, right? Well, almost every Final Fantasy. You know, there is the exception where you've got like 10 and 10-2, 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns. But you don't need to play Final Fantasy 5 to understand Final Fantasy 8. You don't need to play Final Fantasy 6 to understand Final Fantasy 12. It helps to a degree because of the cross-references between the games, but you don't need to do it. And I want to know, is Atomic Heart 2 going to be like that? This game has got to appeal to a wide array of audiences, and let's face it, although the PlayStation 5 is very successful, how many people actually own it and own Atomic Heart? I would say that there are probably going to be more people that own the PS4 version of the original Atomic Heart game because the PS4 is so much more accessible and it would make sense. But we're at that point now. You know, we're well past halfway of this gaming development, not gaming development, you know, the console cycle. That's what I'm trying to say. We're well past halfway, and the PS4 is now being cut off because you look at all the games that are now being announced, they're not coming to PS4. You'll get a couple dribs and drabs coming to PS4, but I think that's pretty much it for all the AAA major releases. But I can still hear you asking, why are you making this video? You've not played Atomic Heart. I know. This is what I want to get to. I want to know, do I need to play Atomic Heart right now? This is your opinion. This is your chance to tell me, some bloke on YouTube that knows nothing. I've just whacked that. Sorry if it was noisy. I know nothing. You need to tell me, do I play Atomic Heart? I know Atomic Heart 2 is coming out, and yes, okay, it looks great. Don't get me wrong, it looks great. But something seems off. Like, if you play the original Atomic Heart, you'll understand what I mean when I say it's got that Bioshock aesthetic, because it genuinely does. But this Atomic Heart 2 trailer did not give me any vibes of Bioshock whatsoever. Like, are they leaving behind that style of game and moving forward with their own style? If they are, that is genius. That is fantastic. That is exactly what they need to do. But if they're still trying to carry on that kind of Bioshock aesthetic in Atomic Heart 2, they're not doing it very well because it does not look like what I would expect it to look like. But this is just me ranting and raving for the sake of it about a game that I do care about that I've never actually played. So tell me in the comments, do I need to play Atomic Heart right now? I have not watched too many videos since its release of people playing it. I kind of wanted to keep it spoiler free. But in some ways, I'm worried now that what I've seen for Atomic Heart 2 may have spoiled a couple of things in Atomic Heart. So please do let me know in the comments what you think I should do. And do also let me know if you've played Atomic Heart and if you are looking forward to Atomic Heart 2 and what you think of it. Are you the same as me? Are you always, there wanting to be interested in this game, but you just haven't got around to it? Because I know there are people like that as well. Anyway, Summer Game Fest so far, it's been really, really good. I've actually been quite impressed. I've done a couple of videos already on Summer Game Fest about things that have appeared. There'll still be more to come if you fancy watching them at some point on my channel, because there is a lot to go through and I can't cover everything, but I will say that this year's Summer Game Fest has been really good. Like, I'm really impressed with how well it has gone. There will be some videos hanging around the screen now if you fancy clicking any and watching some of my previous videos. There's also going to be a subscribe button down there somewhere if you fancy clicking that and enabling notifications. That would be absolutely awesome. I'd appreciate it so much, and hopefully I will see you in one of my next videos. And until then, thank you so much for watching and take care.